So let's talk about Pokemon Let's Go. If you know me, you know this is a game that I was bashing for months before its release, and to be honest, it kind of surpassed my expectations. I was expecting the game to be really bad, and I kind of liked it in the end. So let's talk about that. One of the things I was a big fan of with Let's Go was how they expanded on the following Pokemon, allowing them to interact with the world more and kind of making the game more immersive. How, like, in this example, Bellsprout can interact with the flowers, and how Squirtle can interact with the water. Like, it just felt more alive and more like you were really there in a way. And they did this in more than just one way with the following Pokemons. They also implemented you being able to interact with your Pokemon and play with them, sort of like how they did in Gen 7, but it felt better because you kind of got a connection with this one Pokemon, kind of how you did with Pikachu and Yellow, and it just was really cool. They also brought back riding Pokemon, but made it a lot nicer, as you can actually ride on top of your own Pokemon instead of ones that were just kind of given to you for this temporary reason, like flying somewhere or breaking rocks, and instead replace things like that with techniques, which again is way better than HMs, so that's a huge plus. I felt like the cutscenes from Let's Go were a huge improvement from the ones from the previous generation, from Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They weren't too dragged on, they weren't too long, they weren't boring, they were super cinematic and just felt really smooth. I really liked that they brought back gym leaders later on in the game to help you progress through the story. I thought that was really well made, because it's one of my things that I really like is seeing gym leaders in the real world outside of the gym, so it doesn't seem like they're just sitting there all day waiting for people to battle them. And it's not just this one interaction, there was actually another one, so I just thought that that was a really cool feature. I think it was obvious that outfits were going to find a way to get into this list, and of course it's going to be in the things that I like, and I really did like them. I loved dressing up my Eevee, I loved dressing up, kind of matching with my Eevee in the beginning, and then later on, of course, you can buy your own accessories and make them look different. But I thought that was a really cool feature, especially since they kind of lacked character customization in the game, and that's something I'm going to get on to later on. But I did think that this was cool. At least you can match with your Eevee, even though you couldn't really customize how your character looked too much. How they handled in-game trading for this game was awesome. They made it to where you can trade with one person more than once. So for instance, they want your Vulpix to give you an Alolan Vulpix. You can do that trade more than one time to hopefully get a shiny. Now that has been confirmed, because it's also something that hasn't been possible before. So back in the older games, you could only trade with somebody once, and it wasn't going to be a shiny. But in this game, it does have a chance. Someone did do it, and I don't know who it was, but I did see a clip. So it is possible. So if you want to SR, or not really SR, but if you want to trade for that shiny Vulpix, you can do it. I know that some people were really mixed on the idea of seeing the Pokemon in the overworld, but I actually really liked it. I thought it was a new, cool way to implement and make the game seem more realistic, and it made it to where you can avoid them if you really wanted to. And I liked that, but it did make repels kind of pointless, so I wouldn't suggest buying them. There were a lot of minor things that I really liked about the game, like the fact that the outfit of your Eevee changes in the intro based on what they're wearing, but other than that, a lot of the other things were minor, not really worth noting or putting into a video. So let's move on to the things that I dislike, so I can eventually get to the real discussion on what my opinion is on the game altogether. Now, after hearing all the things that I liked about the game, you may be thinking that there's probably very little that I dislike about it, but that's really not true. There was actually a lot that I disliked, and one of the biggest things was the co-op. I really was looking forward to co-op, and they kind of butchered it. They screwed the pooch. They could have made it a lot better, and they made it seem like you're playing with an imaginary friend. They can't go in buildings, they can't interact with anything, they can't pick up items, they can't talk to people, they can't even be triggering a battle, like not even a trainer battle. It was really weird. It's like people didn't even see them, and I thought that they really ruined a amazing idea, and it seemed too rushed to where it could have been so much better. Now, I've heard a lot of people complaining about the controls, which I personally did not think were too bad, but I did think catching moving Pokemon was the worst part of the game. I kind of learned how to do it much later in the game, but in the beginning it was really difficult. I kind of thought that you had to like throw it up and to the side, and that's not really it at all. You just throw it to the side, and they didn't really explain it, so it just was a really weird experience from the beginning of the game until you really learn how to do it yourself. And that was just something that I did not like, especially since it's a core feature of the game. You'd think that they would give you a little bit more or better or more clear explanation than they did. Now, no matter what people say, this is a Pokemon game and it is a main series game, not a side game. But it doesn't change the fact that it's something that they've been doing in a lot of the games recently, and it's where they baby you to no tomorrow. You're just given items constantly, even by your rival, or you're healed by your rival. Now, it's not something that happened in this game because it is more like Yellow, but you are still given a ton of items, and this scene just was kind of awkward. But it doesn't change the fact that they baby you too much in these games. This game is already watered down to the level of Pokemon Go, which means there's no abilities, no held items. Nothing like that, and the game was just super easy. And I think that how many items that they give you just freely throughout the game was excessive and unnecessary. I did feel a little bit sorry for the people that bought Pikachu instead of Eevee, because you can find Pikachu in literally like the second route. Well, it's not really a route, it's the forest, but it's one of the very early areas. It's kind of ridiculous. Now, I know it's based off of Yellow, Red, and Blue, which it is possible to do that then, but you don't even get an Eevee until I think before the 6th gym on the bicycle path, cycling road. That's when you find an Eevee, so it's like complete opposites. One's near the beginning and one's much closer to the end of the game. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I thought that they kind of, cheaped out on the Pikachu buyers. And I thought that the game was really easy to overlevel. I was personally not even trying to grind, and I was already like 6 to 20 levels ahead of all of the trainers I was battling throughout the whole entire game. I wasn't shiny hunting, I was just trying to complete my decks, and it's kind of extremely easy to get over leveled, and since the game is already easy, it made it that much easier. There was no challenge whatsoever for me to play this game. There was never a time where I needed to use a revive until the Elite Four, maybe. And it was kind of disappointing because I know the games aren't supposed to be super challenging, but they're usually more challenging than this. Now, going back to the co-op, when I was talking to my girlfriend, when she was playing the game, she got bored really quickly because she said it didn't really feel like she was playing the game, and she also didn't like the lack of customization for the co-op person either. They're stuck with whatever skin and hair you pick, and they have the same one, they're just the opposite gender. So I wasn't a huge fan of the lack of customization for both the player and the co-op player. It just seemed like they rushed the co-op a little bit too much, and my biggest pet peeve was the fact that when it came to playing co-op and you were battling a trainer that had more than one Pokemon, they still only used the one Pokemon. It didn't make much sense. They had two Pokemon. They could have thrown it in just like they do when a second person joins in the middle of a battle, but they decided not to do it, and I really don't know why. Again, I thought it was another missed opportunity, and it just made the co-op seem even more rushed. I hope that they do keep the co-op because I thought that was an amazing idea, but they made it too easy to play, made it easier to catch, easier to train, and it just wasn't immersive enough for the second player. Now, I know that another thing that was kind of annoying was that they could never get the second Pokemon, which is the one that they're technically battling with, so whatever's following them isn't the one that they're actually using, and that's just, I don't know, I thought that was kind of stupid. They always get the one after the one that's following you, so they can only get the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth Pokemon. Really minor, but I didn't like it. So with all these things factored in, I think Let's Go was a really enjoyable experience. It's a fun game, but it does have a few minor annoyances, and the co-op really needs to be expanded on and made a lot better. The catching system, I think, needs some work. I don't think that you should immediately be able to catch. I think it should be maybe battling first and then catching. There's a lot of things that could be improved with the game, but it's not really a bad game, and I just really wouldn't consider it a main game. I know it's considered one, but it just doesn't feel like one with all the lack of the main core mechanics of the usual Pokemon game. But with that to the side, it is a really fun game. I'm still playing it today. I beat it. It took me only like I think 40 hours to beat, and I was trying to catch all the Pokemon, so it is with a 100% Pokedex completion. And yeah, I mean, I like the game. I do think that the co-op could be a lot better, and I really hope that they bring that into the future games. And I'm really curious what they're going to end up actually taking from Let's Go and continuing into Gen 8. If we're going to keep following Pokemon, or if they're going to get rid of that, if they're going to keep the graphics or get rid of those and come up with completely new ones. I really hope they keep the models, because the models look way better than the ones from the DS. Not really too much to say, but hopefully this helped somebody either decide to get the game or decide not to. That's all I gotta say, and I'll see you guys at the next shiny hunt.